The pandas would never have thought of it. AM actually dared to attack the coastal areas of the Panda. Hundreds of AM planes flew straight to the coastal areas of the Panda. Coastal areas such as Shandong, Jiangsu, and Shanghai. Dozens of J-7 fighters took off from various airports to intercept them. At the same time, the emergency plan was immediately activated and all radar air defense was turned on. 30 years ago, Pandas held large-scale sea and air military exercises in the eastern coastal areas. The aim is to deter Taiwan. But the exercise has only just begun. The carrier, the Little Eagle, set sail from Yokosuka port in Japan. The exercise of the Panda was observed up close. Even sent two F-14s straight into the Panda's exercise area. Not only did not take seriously the scope of the exercise previously defined by the Panda. At one point, he even flew his plane over the Panda warship. Soon the F-14 spotted two J-8 fighters taking off from Jiangsu Airport. It looks like an interception. But at that time, the AM was the world's first and only superpower. The pilot smiled slightly. What a piece of shit. In his opinion, the J-8 is a World War II aircraft. Whether it's the avionics or their air-to-air missiles. It's not good enough at all. There is a significant generational gap between an F-14. The J-8 is nothing but high and fast. So the captain of the Little Eagle immediately ordered, "Let the F-14 teach these two fighters a lesson." It should be said that the J-8 is high altitude and high speed, but the avionics level is really very poor. The F-14 had not only an electronic pod, but also a receiver. Electronic pod you know something about? The receiver is the receiving of enemy communication signals, radar, spectrum, and then use an electronic pod to direct the interference. As soon as the two sides met, the F-14 jammed the J-8's radar system. There is not only a snowflake on the J-8 radar. Even the fire control radar can't aim. But by this time the two sides were at visual range. So the J-8 is right next to the F-14. They plan to use tough measures to push the F-14 out of the training area. And the pilots of the F-14 have their own problems? Although the technology is a generation ahead of the J-8. But after all, the table hasn't been overturned yet. No face turned. He was afraid to fire. It was forced out of the exercise area by two J-8 fighters. The pilot stormed back to complain, saying that pandas don't practice martial arts. They're not afraid of death at all. Relying on the cheapness of his plane. Always wanted to crash into an F-14. Not only did he give a middle finger when he first posted it, and he stuck out his middle finger and hit us. To protect the aircraft, the pilot had to withdraw from the Panda exercise area. The carrier commander of the Little Eagle was not happy. "Good Panda. Technology is not good. You play with me in bayonet fighting." "Yes. Then I'll show you what high technology is." On the EA-6B. Two EA-6Bs then left the Little Eagle carrier. So what is the EA-6B? It was the most advanced electronic reconnaissance aircraft in the world at that time. The AM family is equivalent to the EA-18G today. Its main task is to be responsible for electronic reconnaissance. Electronic countermeasures collect and destroy the enemy's radar and air defense systems. There were two EA-6Bs. Head straight to the Panda home in Jiangsu. 150 nautical miles from the Panda's territorial waters. The EA-6B opened the electronic pod. A powerful electromagnetic pulse flew toward the land in an instant. Two EA-6Bs then flew south along Shandong. I flew all the way from Shandong to Jiangsu. Then he flew from Jiangsu to Shanghai. Meanwhile, another E-2C early warning aircraft took off from the Little Eagle. 200 nautical miles from the home of the Panda Linghai. The E-2C began its flight from north to south. The E-2C's pilot turned on autopilot. The large disc on the back of the plane began to collect various spectrum signals from the land. Only the display screen in the E-2C cabin can be seen. A few small green dots appear suddenly. The pilot knew it was a Panda family plane. Only to see these little green faces appear in different positions one after another. Each position represents an airport. These little green faces fly from the inland of Shandong to the sea. This gave the driver a shock. Did the Panda find me? No. How did the Panda have such a good radar? The pilot was about to report the incident to Captain Xiaoying. But just then, there are a dozen little green dots on the right screen. This is the Panda plane taking off from another airport. Based on the direction and purpose of these green dots, it's exactly the same as the first batch of little green dots. Seeing this situation, the pilot immediately served himself a cup of coffee. It seems that the Panda was tricked. The E-2C early warning aircraft continued south. The pilot turned on autopilot, from Shandong to Shanghai along Jiangsu. On the E2C screen along the way, every now and then there are a few or a dozen green dots. But it was not in the least alarmed. Follow the set flight path. He drank his coffee and watched the commotion. Until we arrived off the coast of Shanghai, he turned and headed back to the Eagle. Only one EA-6B remained in the outer sea of Shanghai. Prepare to collect communication signals between the Panda and the ground command system. At the same time, why did the Panda family suddenly send a large number of planes into the air? The EA-6B originally released an electronic deception signal. Probe from the ground radar at Panda's home. Hundreds of fighter jets entered the airspace from Shandong in turn. After entering the airspace, the AM fighters flew directly from north to south toward Shanghai. The command center on the ground had never seen anything like this. I thought the AM was about to launch a general attack. Air raid sirens were immediately sounded. And at the same time, we activated the first-level Air Force plan. All the fighters took off to intercept the enemy planes. Even the unsweated Su-27 was sent to the battlefield. Shandong, Jiangsu and Shanghai. Almost all the radars were turned on to look for enemy planes. All pilots and ground crews understand that. If there really is a war. Although he served in the army all his life. But I've never received such an order. Drop the bomb immediately and take off immediately. Do whatever it takes to intercept the enemy plane. People may not know. But these soldiers deal with AM all year round. They know the strength of both sides. But none of them were depressed or afraid. All according to normal training. Reload the ammunition. Get ready to take off and fight. Even as a veteran, while waiting for the hangover, I got a cigarette. He never smokes. But he was thinking, this could be the first cigarette of my life. It could be the last. After smoking, he covers the lid. Drive the J-7 into the sky. With him? This is the airport with a total of 16 J-7 fighter jets. But they followed the coordinates given by the ground radar. Fly towards the goal, round and round. Not even a single enemy plane was seen. In addition to the beautiful scenery of clear skies all day. No hair. The pilot felt something was wrong as he flew. As far as the J-07 is concerned, the AM could have acted earlier. And now there's not a thing going on. And as the pilot kept flying, something even weirder happened. The ground command center is constantly updating the coordinates of enemy aircraft. But the J-7's onboard radar, these aircraft should have been detected. And there's nothing on the radar? Blank out. Until this batch of J-7 fighters flew to the target area. Or nothing at all. This situation not only leaves the pilot with a question mark. Even the command center looked puzzled. At the same time, messages have been sent back from places like Shandong and Jiangsu. No enemy situation. Not a single enemy fighter was seen. So what's going on? Could it be that the radar is broken? Or maybe there are aliens. Just when everyone was wondering, the command center suddenly received a report from a pilot. 150 nautical miles off Shanghai. The Su-27 radar spotted an enemy aircraft. The command center immediately ordered the Su-27 to chase it. Be sure to find out exactly what's going on with this plane. The Su-27 flies toward the target, until it's within visual range. Finally, it turned out to be an electronic reconnaissance plane of AM. The aircraft model EA-6B is visually observed. 2 electronic pods hang under the wings. Each electronic pod has a small propeller in front of it. The commander of the Panda family finally realized that he had been fooled. So why be fooled? From the beginning, the EA-6B released electronic deception signals. Let the ground radar fall into place. All radars are on. The aircraft took off. The E2C's subsequent task is to collect all radar position signals. Then leave. After E2C left, EA-6B continued to implement electronic jamming. So why did the radar at the ground command center pick up the electronic deception signals from the EA-6B? And the J-07 fighter jet didn't find it? Because the electronic pod mounted on the EA-6B had a directional deception function. That is to say, he'll lie to anyone he wants. If you don't want to be fooled, you won't see it. I mean to disgust you. And the reason it's been out at sea. Just so the Panda family's plane could see it. Yes, I did it. What can you do? 2 EA-6Bs alone. Plus an AWACS. It's such a big deal. Dozens of fighter jets took off in front of Panda House. All ground radars are on. After all this commotion, E2C has collected Panda families in Shandong, Jiangsu and Shanghai. The number of aircraft that can take off from all war preparedness airports in an emergency. Air Force readiness. Reaction time. The location of radar air defense. Signal of communication. All this data is in the bag. At this time, as long as the Little Eagle has 20 F-14s, You can do whatever you want in Shandong, Jiangsu, and Shanghai. Destroy all the radar airfields. After all this fuss, all the radar air defense systems in the 3 coastal provinces of the Panda, all were forced to relocate. All signals are forced to change. This is the famous 94 major air incident in Panda's home. It can be seen that the military-level gap between AM and Panda family was really not a little bit at that time. And because of this, make the leaders of Panda families aware, there is a huge gap between China and the United States in electronic warfare. Recognize the importance of electronic warfare. Start deploying large numbers of top tech people. A number of research projects in the field of electronic information warfare were launched immediately. Although there are many projects in the field of electronic information, a number of research projects in the field of electronic information warfare were launched immediately. Although there are many projects in the field of electronic information, however, the military still does not have enough understanding of electronic information warfare. Until another large-scale confrontation between China and the United States 2 years later, it made the whole Panda family realize, electronic warfare must be increased. Increase research efforts. Otherwise, the Panda family will never be at peace. What kind of confrontation will occur between China and the United States next? What kind of big loss did Panda family suffer? We'll talk about that next time.